Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this amazing episode of Growth School. And I hope you're doing very well. I hope you had an amazing day and your day is going on pretty well. Okay. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Dr. Abiodun Mustafa, a personal development trainer and author, an educator, and also a leader at Growth Hub Africa. All right. And today we'll be taking the part two series of our session on mastery. In the first episode, we started talking about the concept of mastery, and we shared on how you can begin to master the tools to win in the game of life, where I shared a number of very amazing and phenomenal things that you can begin to use to master and to win in the game of life. Okay, and today we'll be talking about how you can start increasing your advantage, how you can increase your advantage in a competitive world. How do you start ensuring that in a world that is very competitive, in a world where you know that there are people who want to have the same thing that you desire, same things you long for, same things you seek for, how do you begin to increase your advantage to ensure that you are the most preferred for such opportunities? All right. We are in a world where opportunities exist, even though the opportunity seems to be limited. Why? Because there are a lot of people who are willing to get them. So you're someone in an industry, you're seeking academic opportunity, you are seeking career leverage, you're trying to advance your life, you're trying to be better, do better, and you want to really advance your life in the things that you do. The things that we'll be sharing today would help you to increase your advantage and to be the preferred candidate for that chosen opportunity. All right. Now, the last time I shared around the story of David, all right, and how he was that young boy, the last born in the family, the least preferred by his father, never seen as anyone who will become great, who will become a king, who would advance his life, and who will begin to do a lot of amazing things. And eventually, David was the one who was used, all right, who stood for the entire nation and confronted a mighty, experienced warrior. And eventually, he became the king of Israel. All right, he was anointed, he won the battle, and he became the perfect choice to become the king of Israel. Israel was one of the most respected nations at that time. Okay, and eventually, a lot of things happened. And I will be picking some of the things I'll be sharing and how you can begin to increase your advantage. And number one is discipline, the power of discipline. Now, you would find out from that story, if you are very conversant with the Bible, you would know the story of David. Now, you would imagine the length of years that David actually made use of to continue to become a shepherd. All right? A shepherd at that time, as one who was the last born, did not look like the most preferred. Why? Because his brothers were warriors. Whenever the king was going to battle, the brothers were the one who went with him to fight in the battle. And when they came back, they came with the spoils of the war, and then they distributed amidst the people. But David built a discipline of obeying a profession that built his competence. So David was the one that, he knew when they told him, go to the forest, go with the sheep, and go take care of them and make sure they are fine. He kept on doing that over and over again. And through the process of discipline, he was learning how to defeat the lion, he learned how to defeat the bear, okay, even though it was not being announced. And certain things were kept until the time that he needed to present that testimonial to confront Goliath. The problem for many people is that they do not have the discipline of staying true on something to the end. So, for example, you hear today that data analytics is something that is learning. You start data analytics, and after 2 3 weeks, you say, this thing and all of that is, it gets, you feel that it's difficult and all of that. You drop it. You pick something new, you say, oh, it's website designing. And then you switch from there. After another 2 weeks, you say, oh, it's tough. I don't think I can learn this. And then you say, oh, the next thing is I want to learn public speaking. And then you start after the days, you say, oh, I can't begin to do all of this. Can you stay disciplined to be able to build mastery at a thing to a point where you can command massive result from it? And many people are not disciplined because they do not see instant result. The moment you keep looking for instant gratification and you are not willing to stay true with time on a thing, you will not be prepared for greater opportunities. Go look at people that you celebrate, those who you look forward, you feel, oh, this person is doing a lot of things. Even those who seem to be doing things that you term illegitimate, when they have built mastery of those things, they gain results from them. So it's really important that you know that the power to be disciplined will change your life for a very long time. And that's why it's not enough to go for a program, to take a course, and then you're rejoicing, yes, I took that course, so I have this certificate. You know how people go on LinkedIn today, nothing wrong with it. And then they share that, oh, they have this certificate and all of that. But the question is thereafter, what do you do with these things? So the power of discipline gives you an expanded ability to be able to harness opportunities into your life. So David was that one that would stay to become a shepherd. He was not looking for the luxury position. He was not trying to say, oh, I must be a warrior like my brother by force. Oh, I must walk in the palace by force. He was able to stay disciplined as a shepherd. And then he learned leadership competence. He learned the ability to be able to offer shield and safety for the sheep. And through that, he was prepared to confront Goliath. Great things are not given to those who have not proven themselves in little things. So the power to stay disciplined will expand the opportunities over a number of time. For example, you say you're in HR. For example, you say you're trying to build competence in the financial sector, in the communication sector, in the tech sector. But what do you stay disciplined in? Discipline will always outwit motivation. Will always give you greater result than just being motivated. We have a lot of highly motivated people, but we have few people who are disciplined. So number one is discipline. Number two is systems. Number two, systems. Number two, systems. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Comfort, for joining. Nice to see you. Been a while. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. All right. So now number two is systems. Number two is systems. Sometimes the reason why certain individuals don't seem to grow, all right, and you find out that they don't experience growth in their life, they don't get recommended for opportunities, is because they seem to lack systems in their life. And what differentiates an expert from an amateur is the systems they create around their lives, the systems they create around their gifts, the systems they create around their talents, the systems they create around their treasures. Okay? For example, there are certain individuals that if you need to invite them, maybe to come to your event, to speak at your event, there's a process you need to go through. Oh, you need to fill a form on the website to invite them. You need to tell them what is available. All right. When that is done, you need to speak to their personal assistants. They are trying to create a system so that they don't get distracted by process instead of investing time to build their gift. So the reason why those who are at the top or those who get the greatest reward from the same thing you seem to be doing is because they have built a system that makes them focus on the major thing. So people are willing to pay them millions of naira, some millions of dollars to be invited to come speak, or hundreds of thousands of dollars to come and speak. And you are willing to get just 1% of that. Why? Because there's a system that is built to their lives. For example, there are people who don't waste their time to sit to have a one-on-one coaching conversation with you, especially when you are not going to pay for it. What do? They refer you to their books. What do? They refer you to a free video. Why? Because they need to gain more time to be able to build their gifts to a very high level. So for those who have the higher share, you always see them build systems. Look at any industry, the banking industry, the entertainment industry. You even have actors and actresses who have personal assistants who you need to converse with. They have some people even pay virtual assistants who manage their time, who say, okay, this time is available, or I think my client will be willing to do this. For some people, if you have not built a very close relationship with them, you can't just get them to do things for you. So the ability to build systems, and you should recognize that sometimes in systems you need to grow into it. Like you have not proven any track record, you have not auditioned yourself to a mass audience to know how valuable you are, and then you are building system already. Okay, there is a process to doing that. So if you really want to increase your advantage in a competitive world, you need to build systems. So number one, I spoke about the concept of discipline. Number two, you need systems. All right. Now, before leaving even the concept of discipline, are you aware of discipline route that the top individuals in your industry put themselves through in order to become the best in that industry? Do you know there are people who don't eat certain things? Do you know there are people, the top people in your industry, sometimes they have to carry out certain physical exercises, they have to eat less, they have to sleep early, they have to read more. So while they are disciplined, they also build a system that helps them do these things. Like they have somebody who reaches out to them, who follows up on them. They have an accountability system that enables them to stay disciplined in their craft. So if you really want to increase your advantage, you want to be more competitive, you want to be paid more for the things that you do, you need to build these systems. Number three, which I'm going to go deep dive into, is wisdom. Number three is wisdom. Wisdom is that particular leverage, okay, that shields you. You know, there's a part in the Bible that the Bible says wisdom is a defense. Why? Because as you grow and as opportunities begin to come, wisdom will guide you on how to run and navigate through them. Wisdom will guide you on who to talk to. Wisdom will guide you on what competence you need to build to access them. Wisdom will guide you on how you can pitch your way through, all right, to getting certain competitive opportunities. So you need the power of wisdom. You need the power of wisdom. Wisdom is very pivotal if you must lead in your field, if you must lead in your industry, if you must push, if you must stop pursuing those things, but instead attract them to the point whereby people beg you to have them. So how do you increase your advantage in a competitive world? And I'm going to be sharing on certain I'm going to be sharing on some wisdom ideologies, okay? The ability to think with wisdom, some wisdom ideologies that allows you make better choices, okay? Because our lives are defined, our lives are defined by choices. Our lives are defined by choices. The what constitutes between the point of your birth and the point of your death is the choices that you make. And how do we make choices? We need the power of wisdom to make better and greater choices. All right? We need the power of wisdom and how we can begin to leverage them to make better and greater choices. Now, number one thing to consider when you want to make a choice is goals versus purpose. Goals versus purpose. I know there's usually that season of the year where people always tell you, oh, set your goal. Oh, at the end of the year, set your goal for the following year. Set your goal for 20XX. Set your goal for this. Or maybe in the early part of the year, oh, set goals so that you don't just achieve things. But have you realized that most times you set goals, but when it becomes a season to actualize them or to be able to get result out of them or to begin to execute them, you become weary. You just find out that, oh, you're weary, you are not inspired, you are not challenged, you just get to the point where you don't seem to feel like going on with those goals. Because when goals are meant to become motivations, sometimes they end up as frustrations. That's always because you stay only at goals. And goals are really amazing. Why? Because they offer you hope for the future. The only reason why you have hope that something is possible is because you have those goals written down. But beyond just knowing what you want, do you proceed to the purpose of those things by asking, why do you want them? Just saying, oh, I want this. Like, for example, a student will say, oh, I want a first class. But do you have a purpose? Do you have a very strong motivation that why do you want a first class? Because when you get into your journey of gaining and having that first class, you may see things that will discourage you and that may make you lose inspiration if the why for why you need a first class is not strong enough. There are people who know that they need a first class to liberate themselves and those who will come after from the cause of failure. Why? Because they need to open certain doors, global doors, career doors, if they must change the story of their lineage. So there's always purpose, there's always goals versus purpose. As you set out in your goals, as you try to begin to write down your goals, write down your plans, do you also write down why you need to achieve them? Because the why is always stronger than the what. Because when the what seems discouraging to attain, the why is the fuel that pushes you to go on. Why do you think you should wake up at night and study and dig your head into those things? It's not enough to say, oh, you want to be the best in that industry. Oh, you want to achieve this. You want to make this money. You want to get this job. You want to accomplish this. You want to take your craft to global level. You want to ensure that you are able to increase your customer size to this level. What is the motivation? Why is it strong enough? I once had a mentor who shared with us on a platform where he said when people ask him what is his motivating factor to succeed, he says his motivating factor is poverty. Why? He has seen a level of poverty that he knows that he needs to work smart, work hard, be so diligent, build strategic connections if he must not end that way, if his children must not see such. What is your motivation for the things that you want? Goals versus purpose. Goals versus purpose. Hope is amazing, but hope is not a strategy. Hope is amazing. So goals give you hope. Okay, I can get this. I can accomplish this. I can fulfill this. I believe, oh, if I do this, Y, and Z, I'll be able to get that. Okay, fantastic. But why do you need them? Why should you achieve them? Why should your business be considered as the best in that industry? Why do you want your business to command global attention? When you begin to see the politics and all that go on, can you still go on and say, yes, you believe it and you know that it's possible? Purpose is stronger than goals. Purpose is stronger than goals. Okay, now number two, in making choices, another thing you always need to look out for is ambition versus vision. Ambition versus vision. A lot of the times, people mix these two things together. Like someone says, "Oh, I want to build I want to be able to build a conglomerate." Oh, fantastic! I want to travel the world and ensure that I'm able to command massive influence. I want to be invited to everywhere in the world. Amazing. But you need to ask, is this an ambition or is this a vision? And what really brings the difference, what differentiates ambition from vision is what your life purpose is. Because every vision that you see you have, every aspiration that you have that is founded on your life purpose is a vision. But every aspiration that you have that has no connection to your life purpose is an ambition. And ambition seems to be founded on the things that are visible, the things that you can see, the things that maybe you see others achieve, the things that you see others become, the things that you see others have. But vision, most times, they come from the things that you can't really see with your physical eyes. They come from a deep belief system and a strong drive that makes you want to go on even if no one supports you. So, ambition versus vision. In the kinds of things that you desire to fulfill, the kinds of things you desire to accomplish, the kinds of things you desire to have, the kinds of things you keep pushing yourself to get over and over again. What is an ambition? What is a vision? You need to do this critical thinking for you to make the right decision. Every vision is established on the basis of purpose. Think about the next 10, 5, 20 years of your life, accounting all the decisions you made and all the things you did in your life, and a lot of the things you chose to believe. Will you count every of these things and you would be able to trace the fact that you were really visionary, but you were not just ambitious? Because visions really give you a measure of joy, fulfillment, happiness, delight, and then they drive you to really do more, to really accomplish more, to really go far. They want to make you hand over something to a generation, and then people can find out and say that man was a visionary man, not just an ambitious man. What are the things you crave for in life? And then you can really say that this is a vision I choose to accomplish and not just an ambition. Okay? Number three, wisdom principle for making better choices. Number three is possibility versus probability. Possibility versus probability. The average man takes his decision based on possibility only. But the kings, the royals, the people at the top, they take their decisions based on probability. They move from just possibility to probability. And that's the reason why when you see those who gamble, they don't think critically enough to find out and reason and say, oh, is it possible for me to be rich and wealthy by gambling? Is it possible? Yes. But let's take it further. What is the probability? What's the probability that you are actually going to be wealthy? You are actually going to build wealth from being a gambler. The same way when people come with certain notions that are not taught through and say, oh, school is not important, school is calm, just live your life, just be this, just all you have to have is just okay, just be gifted and then go about and also your way and do all of those things. I said, don't go to school. Okay. I know you can look out and look at people who decided not to go to school or somewhere, drop out, and you can say, oh, because they are dropouts. But see, that person is a millionaire. Oh, see, that person is doing well. But do you know the probability of those who decided to go that route, but they never made it? So it's possible that someone can decide not to go to school, not to be educated, and live a careless life and just come online, do source, and do all of those things. But you know the millions of people, they don't even have the hope of coming back and doing better than where they are. So it's really important that you begin to look beyond just possibility. You take a further step by moving on to probability. The same way career decisions. So right now you want to change career, you want to go into a certain career aspect, you want to move into a new career field. Think not just possibility. Don't just say, oh, is it possible that if I choose this career right now, I'm going to make it, like I'm going to be delighted, like I'm going to make so much money. Is it possible? Okay, then proceed. If it's possible, is it probable? What's the probability? Okay. So you just proceed and say, oh, what's the probability? Like, what is the probability that if I decide to go through this route, like I am going to be the best at it, like I'm going to be at the top, I'm going to command impact, I'm going to command value. So as you take career decisions, as you begin to look out for opportunities, as you begin to choose places where you want to explore your gifts, places where you want to go, think possibility, but proceed also to probability. Okay, I want to share something very quickly. It's an I want to share something very quickly. All right, so there is this event called Confab. It's the Conference of Faithful Ambassadors. It's being hosted by Confab, that's the Conference of Faithful Ambassadors. And it's taking place this Saturday, 17th of August, 2024. It's called Lightning Speed, Advance Your Life, Reach Your Full Potential, and Impact Nation. Okay, it's for young adults, um, undergraduates, fresh graduates, entrepreneurs, professionals, and those who are willing to advance their life. You really want to know the secrets, the strategy, the systems that can enable you to take more informed decisions and begin to lead in your industry. Okay, if you are that kind of person that you want to really go global with the things you do, you want to position yourself as a leader, you want to grow, you want to improve yourself, you want to be better, this is an event that I really want you to attend. This is an event I want you to be at. This is an event I want you to be there. Okay, so it's lightning speed, and we have some phenomenal guests. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, will be there. She will be speaking as the keynote speaker. We also have a great speaker. That's the founder of Smarter House. So Smarter House is an organization where we have a lot of people around Ikorodu, teenagers who probably some of them they're giving up on them and they want to begin to learn the real skill that can make them command global impact. So the man behind it is Johnson Abali. Johnson Abali will be speaking at that program. We also have a Confab alumni, that's Eunice Obidi. She's a writer, a radio presenter, and also a book editor. And she will be speaking also, and also the convener, that's the founder, CEO of Chronicle Software Limited, Mr. Oluwa Koijo Oluwatosin. And these are very, very phenomenal people that you want to meet. And I want you all to be at the program. I know the event is free, but you would need to register. So let me just drop the registration link. I think there's a short link. Hold on a sec. All right, so that's it. Just take a screenshot or you can write it down and then visit that link to register so you can attend. It's a free event, but registration is important. bit.ly/confab15, all in lowercase. So prepare to attend, and it's really going to be amazing. I look forward to see you there. I will be there. I'll be at this event. I'll be there. You may likely see me in one or two things, engaging in one or two things thereabout. So prepare. I will be at that event. Okay, so we're speaking. So I spoke about the concept of goals versus purpose and possibility versus probability. and ambition versus vision. Ambition versus vision. Now, let me just take one more. Let me take one more before I close this. Okay, the next one is more versus growth. More versus growth. Now, sometimes, and I mentioned that exposure is not an advantage. More exposure is not an advantage until you understand how to use that exposure. Why? Because there are people that have died because they were exposed to something. Yeah. There are people who have died because they were exposed to something. There were people who were exposed to the wrong things and then they died. And then they utilized certain exposure wrongly. There were people, like, for example, who friends told them, "Oh, you are not exposed. You are not exposed. Let's go to that place. Oh, it's partying, is balling there." All right. By going there to become balling, they met some people they should not have met. And then some of them were defiled, some of them were even killed, some of them they were killed mentally, some of them were killed emotionally. Why? Because they were exposed wrongly. The real advantage of exposure is in what you are exposed in. All right, is in what you're exposed in. So more exposure does not mean growth, which means you must focus on growth beyond exposure. All right, you must focus on growth beyond exposure. What is the growth potential? How can you keep attracting more advantage, more profit, more possibility for yourself instead of just being exposed? Instead of just being exposed. More versus growth. It is better to grow into a thing than to jump to get it. Okay, you have not grown. Someone is not tall because he jumped to get something from a tree. The person is tall enough when he can just lift his hand a bit or just lift his hand and get it. Because in jumping to attain a thing, you exact energy, you exact time, you're tired, you're weary. But when you choose to grow into those things, you can get it over and over and over again. So when people try to offer you opportunities or people try to lay different choices before you, don't just be excited and say, "Oh, yeah, fantastic. Oh, that's it. Give me more. I want more. I want more." Have you grown into acquiring those things? More influence is not an advantage until you have grown to manage more influence. More followers is not an advantage until you have grown into managing more followers. There are people who have been depressed because they had more followers. So, when someone just type an half-witted thing in their comments because they were seeking more followers, I need more followers, just give me more followers. And then they were just willing to have more followers, but they have not grown into managing such things. And that's why you are always told that as a leader, you need to grow. You are the first person to be led if you really want to remain there as a leader. So, what are the things we have shared today? I'll be wrapping this up. If you really want to increase your advantage, you need discipline, you need systems, you need wisdom. And in making wise decisions, you need to begin to measure certain things. All right? Goals and purpose, ambition and vision, possibility and probability, more and growth. Okay? That someone is giving you more of something does not mean you are growing. That someone is offering you more money does not mean you are growing. There are jobs you can come into where you can be given more money, but the ability to grow will not be there. You'll not be able to grow in that career. You'll not be able to do something more. You'll not be able to advance beyond that level. You would continue to operate locally. You will not be able to expand globally just because you got more money. Okay? More does not equate growth. Thank you very much. I trust it was worth your time. If you have questions, please do well to drop them. And like I've mentioned, I look forward to seeing you at Compa 15. It's this Saturday, 17th of August, 2024. It's a free event. I'm not paid to do this, but this is an event that I am fully part of. You may not see me as a speaker, you may not see me on the flyer, but I am a part of it. And I look forward to meeting you. And the venue is at Nellos Place. Nellos Place. The venue is at Nellos Place Event Center, 2 Yomi Oshimoya Drive, Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, Ikeja, Lagos. All right, Ikeja, Lagos. If you are anywhere in Lagos, if you just turn on your Google map and type Nellos Place Event Center, you would see how to navigate your way through. And for those who you will be coming through public transport, just install the app Lara NG. Install the app Lara NG. Lara can give you a description on how to come get there. There's this Lara NG that can tell you the bus to enter, how much it costs, and how to get to the place. It's really direct, and it's a place that you can get into. It's the former venue that Minister Dusin Oyekan uses for Upper Room in Lagos before they moved to the island. Nellos Place Event Center. Just type it there. It's a very popular event center. Till we meet again for Growth School, keep making the rest of your life the best of your life. Keep making difference and keep walking by the speed of light. I celebrate you. Cheers.